How do I build a team? How do I get a pitch that is very succinct? How do I think about key value props for my business? So we try and embed all of those things into their journey, and the support that we give them can be deep technical support, like how do I do this with AI, all the way up to like, well, how do I pitch? Like, what's the best way to pitch to an investor? And so, yeah, we try and build their business kind of soup to nuts, if you will.
Hello and welcome to TEQ. This episode comes to you from Seattle. I'm at Microsoft Build, and I have the distinct honor to have with me Koel Labs, who is Senior Director, actually, of Audience here at Microsoft and has been involved with the Imagine Cup for a number of years. And this year is 23rd anniversary?
It's the 23rd anniversary. Yeah, of the Imagine Cup. So we've been doing it for a while.
I know, and I'm delighted for different reasons. First of all, because I always use it as a way to prompt my team to do more with their life. But all seriousness, seeing young people get into technology to solve real life issues is so uplifting, especially now more than ever. And I'm curious as to, over the years, your involvement, what you learn from working with these young humans, because they're not kids, and more recently, adding AI to their, way of thinking about solving problems.
Yeah, I think the biggest change, I mean, students are amazing in general, right? And to see these students have built stuff that they're really passionate about and they care about, and it's going to help their local community, is just, it's so uplifting, as you were saying. Like, I love it as well. I think the biggest thing that we're seeing with AI now is just the breadth of students that can get involved now. It used to be you really had to be a comp sci student and really know how to code, and now these students can do amazing things from the business schools or a data analyst school or whatever that may be. And so we're just seeing a more breadth of students being able to get involved in tech because of what tech's able to do now. So,
what I also love, and I want to know more about, this is not just a moment on the stage and off you go with, some money and mentorship from Satya himself.
Yeah.
But you follow up with these projects and the brains behind it, right?
We do, yeah. So all the students, as they embark their Imagine Cup journey, we actually get them into Microsoft for Startups. And that is a key way to nurture them. We provide mentors for them and really give them kind of that step up to take their business to that next level. So they get Azure credits with that, access to mentors, technologies from our partners that really help them build out their projects and again, get them to that next level. And so beyond Imagine Cup, the money's nice. And of course, who doesn't want to meet with Satya? But they continue their journey with Microsoft and help them build their business from here.
And this is an international competition, right? So yeah, you have entries from all over the world.
Yeah, one of the things that's really important to us as Microsoft is we want to make it accessible. We want diversity, and so we make it as open and inclusive as possible for any college or university student to enter the program.
Were there some specific themes this year that transpired as far as what kind of problems the students were trying to solve?
Yeah, we do tend to see a lot of like health and accessibility issues because students are seeing that in their daily lives, right? And so as students see that, they want to help that, and so we see a lot of that. We also see just a lot of innovation around helping the earth, helping sustainability. So those kind of themes always ring true. And then we see some things that are just kind of necessary, like we saw this year with Hair Match. You see Alicia, she's got this beautiful hair, and knowing that other ladies are struggling with the same types of issues. And so just that real personal touch of how do I get involved and help a community that I'm involved in. So yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because I was a little bit direct in my comments on X after the announcement this morning, because it's not just about beautiful hair. There's actually a real problem that they're trying to solve with their solution, because there is such a thing as an Afro tax when it comes to hair, and the amount of money that Black women in this country are spending for that. So I was delighted. I think the audience kind of missed the point a little bit, but I'm looking forward to the opportunity to dig into a little bit more of their app and explain why this matters.
Yeah.
when you're looking at the source of inspiration for the students, you talked about is something that they see, but over the years as I follow, there are a lot of personal stories as well. Is either the grandparent who's been struggling with cancer, or the loss of the family member, or everyday life for a student. Is that true?
Yeah, very true. We saw this year even with Signverse, Daniel, who is hearing impaired, and his teammates around him really wanting to help. How do we make this a better experience for Daniel? And so Daniel was kind of the guiding light for that team to help them build this great avatar-based, hearing impaired sign language. And so we see that quite often. Even last year, the winner From Your Eyes, who was sight impaired, and really wanting to help others who are sight impaired to be able to enjoy the world around them in ways that they may not be able to otherwise. And in fact, that team in particular has gone on to do great things with From Your Eyes because of the technology and the boost that they got from Microsoft and Magic Cup.
That's amazing. I know that obviously we are at the end of the cycle for this year, but where can students go and find out more to actually start putting their thinking cap on for next year?
Yeah, they go up to magiccup.com. They can go register for next year, and actually they can start building now. So even if they register, the actual event doesn't kick off until the October timeframe. But they can start building now, start getting their MVP in place, and then they can sign up now for Microsoft for Startups too and get access to all the great support that these teams had last year and start that build for next year.
That's awesome. And I think that what is important to maybe point out is that it's not just about technology. It's about learning how, yes, the technology works, but it's about learning how to, do an elevator pitch and working together. So there's so many skills that you're actually teaching these students to pick up along the way.
Yeah. How do I build a team? How do I get a pitch that is very succinct? How do I think about key value props for my business? So we try and embed all of those things into their journey, and the support that we give them can be deep technical support, like how do I do this with AI, all the way up to like, well, how do I pitch? Like, what's the best way to pitch to an investor? And so, yeah, we try and build their business kind of soup to nuts, if you will.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you spending time. I know you're busy here at Build, and I'm looking forward to see what is coming next.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I'm now here with Sahid Mulahala, who is one of the finalists. And the company, the startup is called ADA for Career.
Yes.
And I'm curious to understand a little bit more. I was really excited to understand the concept of it. And it's something that we definitely need more. It's about matching employer with a more diverse.
Yeah. So ADA for Career is actually made for one main problem. It's a simple problem, which is finding a job is hard for us. And it's way more harder for our disability friend. Especially in my country, usually people with disability, they don't have the proper access to looking for a job and also even for having the same opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we want to bridge that because, well, one of my family itself who is actually disabled in the motoric because of some accident, doesn't get any other opportunity itself, but he actually a bright mind. He can do what actually people can do, and the opportunity he got because of the discrimination he got is really downsizing him. We want to bridge that. We want to make sure that it doesn't happen anymore. We want to make sure that making a job or taking a job is way easier for all, because with ADA, all dreams achievable.
What are some of the hurdles that you faced as you were trying to bring your concept to market for
I think
the
it's
competition?
the main challenge is about the education to the people itself, because in my country, looking for a job is.
Let's remind people what country we're talking about.
Oh, I'm talking about Indonesia.
Okay,
I'm
awesome.
from Indonesia, yeah. So it's actually there's not much of the access itself for the job applying, especially for disability. There's like no special access for them to actually applying for the job. So the education itself is mainly the important one, and of course the awareness for the people to actually know the importance of our product itself. building it is actually one of the, I think it's kind of not that hard problem because our team itself is consisted of people that is really bright mind and we have the same vision for that.
So as often is the case, the technology is the easier
Yeah, it's
part.
actually
People
easier
are
part. Yeah, it's
harder
actually
part.
like the public itself for like making our product is actually they know what is the importance of it. Yeah.
Did you use AI for any part of the process?
Yeah, so all of the features like for the job matching for the disability people and then the career development course for them for making their of course you know that applying for a job is not just applying, it's also making sure that you are meet the qualification.
Right, you have the
So
credentials.
yeah. So for actually go there, we need the AI for that. Because AI is actually simplifying the job. We don't need manual verification. We don't need to do like a long process for them to learn. We just need to know where their skills at and what is actually the job they really have, the job that they can get from that, and the level they actually are. This actually make the HR department who sometimes is well not that objective, you know, when they are analyzing the job applicant, is actually making the process way more objective. And yeah, we use all the AI that is actually available in Microsoft Azure because well, building the product in 3 months when we are using that kind of AI, if we build it from scratch, it will be possible.
Yeah.
It will be possible, yeah.
I'm curious if your solution also helps with job descriptions in terms of making them more inclusive.
So actually, the core value of Ada for Career is all about inclusivity. We want to make sure that when it's not just the job seeker, but it's actually the HR department that is also they really they don't know where is actually to find the right talent actually, because sometimes people with disability they feel not that encouraged to apply for the job itself. So this is the platform is actually bridge that gap. We want to make sure that not just the job seeker, but also the job apply, the HR department also get the same easy access to actually find the right talent.
What is next for the team? Where do you see yourself and the impact that you want to have, say, in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, so actually, we after the Imagine Cup competition, after the semifinal, it's actually really encouraging us because, well, we never thought that at the first place we can go to the semifinal itself. We just, when we are submitting the MVP phase, we're thinking like, it will be a really great competition. It will be a hard competition because we just saw the idea that is coming up. It's really hard to think that we're gonna actually go to the semifinal, and we actually find that when they are doing the final pitch, we goes with Argus. Actually, we are in the same batch when they're doing the pitch, and we saying like, wow, the idea is so great. We're thinking like, but when we are actually this, we get the encouragement that well, we can actually continue this. We can continue the product because we're thinking why we stop when we already goes this far. So actually, we applying to some incubation. One of the incubation that we already got accepted is in Lee Spark Incubator in Singapore. It's like an incubation that is supporting a product to go to the Web3, which is actually what we are focusing right now. We want to not just using the AI, but also the Web3 because there is a problem. In job applying, sometimes the document itself, the certification they got from our website need to be they need to be in the standard, right? The standard so that they can apply to the job that they can apply. So we also get some attention from the Spark Incubator, and we are actually in 8 months, I think, 8 weeks, I think, from June. We're gonna do the program, and hopefully we'll get the best result from that.
That's awesome. Advice, practical advice to anybody else who's looking at what you've done and might be thinking about submitting their proposal for the Imagine Cup next year.
Okay. Well, I think the main advice, yeah, I think I could give some context itself that our team, Ada for Career, is the only representative from Indonesia. I see that not that much Asian country, Southeast Asian country especially, is maybe except Singapore and Malaysia. They are want to make and they are making an innovation, especially in my country itself, people, they are locked down and thinking that it's just opportunity for people in the West or people in the maybe United States of America. By actually joining this, and when I'm actually landing in Seattle, this is by the way my first international flight, I'm thinking like this will be a great opportunity for you. All dreams is achievable. All things, if you have the process, if you can do it, if you can think about it, then you can do it. You just need to find the right people. You just need to find the right environment for you to build it. And trust me, the process will never make you regret.
Well, you're living proof that yes,
Yeah.
if you work and you find the right
Yes.
people, you get to
Yes.
Seattle.
Yeah.
So congratulations. It was
Thank you so
amazing,
much. Yeah.
meeting you. And I'm looking forward to see where your project is going to go next.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have another finalist. I have Aruna Srivaslava with me from Koel Labs. And I'm excited because women power, like we need to have more of that. So tell us more about your project and the exciting part and maybe the bit scary part of going through it till you got to Seattle.
Yes, wonderful. So Koel Labs is a language learning platform focused on mastering pronunciation using the movies and TV shows you already watch, such that we make learning pronunciation a fun and exciting process. It was founded by myself and Alex, my co-founder, and Ruslan. The three of us are students, and we are all immigrants or children of immigrant parents ourselves. And so mastering and learning pronunciation was something we were really familiar with. And we decided early on that this was a problem space we really wanted to help improve for our families and those around us.
Where are you based in the US?
We're actually students at the University of Washington, so we're only 20 minutes away.
Very close.
So
you didn't have to land in Seattle.
I know, yeah, we're so lucky.
Well, I was born in Italy, lived in England, and now I live here in the US. And so I know something about the challenges of pronunciation, but I also know how traditional schools actually are not always equipped to make it fun. What were you thinking as far as the, if you like, the core principle of what you wanted to build, as far as that making it almost, gamifying maybe the experience?
Yeah. Going back to core principles, at Koel Labs, it was really important that we never decided what correct in language was. That was something we noticed as a flaw in a lot of other existing products. But what does it mean to say something correctly in a language is actually very difficult. But instead, we wanted to turn it into a game where the actors in the movies you watch serve as the point of reference for the accent feedback. And at no point we decide that this actor is saying something more correctly, but it's just a game of you trying to sound more like them because you enjoy watching them. You want to see if you can sound more like them. And so that is one of the core principles, is making sure that we are dialect sensitive in our language learning platform. And that was probably one of the more challenging components, because to be able to create a platform that can adjust to dialects and be accent sensitive is quite challenging.
I'm assuming you use the AI as part of the process.
Yes, I can definitely explain that. So if you ever look up a word online and you see the dictionary definition, underneath it is some characters that describe the pronunciation.
Yeah, the phonetics.
Yes, exactly, phonetics. So this is called IPA. And there is a machine learning task component to this, where you're able to use machine learning to predict IPA from the audio. This is called IPA transcription. And so we can use machine learning to be able to predict the IPA sequence that a person is saying, and then compare that against the actor in the movie's IPA sequence. And oftentimes, some platforms will directly show the IPA to the user and say, this is how you're pronouncing something. But most people don't know how to read IPA.
Yeah.
So although our models are able to tell us the IPA feedback, we use that to then be able to provide users natural language feedback. So we use the IPA, use a couple algorithms to be able to compare the sequence of the actor reference to the user, and then we're able to actually provide natural language feedback that feels intuitive and natural.
What were your top 3 kind of elevator pitch points to get approved in the first round of the selection?
Yeah, so for the Microsoft Imagine Cup, our first was probably being dialect sensitive, right? Being a language learning app that really understood the diversity of language and was honoring it. The second one being that because our platform is built for non-standard speech, it's really critical for us to be able to provide a foundation for non-standard speakers. So we do research with a lot of top universities in speech. And we noticed that a lot of these speech technologies used on a day-to-day, like speech to text, oftentimes don't work for a person with an accent or speech impediment.
Tell me about it. Yes.
No, it's really frustrating, and it's largely a data problem. And so the second component we really wanted to focus on was being able to build out a platform for non-standard speakers and using that data to help build out the foundation for the next generation of speech technology.
What's your ultimate goal with this app?
Our ultimate goal is, one, to provide universal speech therapy to anyone at a very low cost to us so that we can provide a freemium-based model. It's huge because if you ever look up how to get speech therapy, it's like $200 an hour. People overseas can't afford that. It's not accessible. And we think that everybody should feel like a confident speaker and be able to master pronunciation regardless of their background. So that is a key component. The second is being able to fix a lot of these problems we're seeing in speech technology as it becomes more and more widely used. We want speech technology to be useful for somebody with a speech impediment, useful for somebody with a very thick accent, and more adaptable. And so our next goal is to be able to get the usership, to be able to get widespread data that can power more speech technology even outside of language learning.
And are you looking to be cross-platform in app stores?
Yeah. So right now we're browser-based, so we are hosted on the web. We'll later migrate to an app that you can use on your phone. But part of our mission is being able to allow our technology to be accessed anywhere, and largely because most people have access to a computer, we want it to be easier to be used on a PC first.
That makes perfect sense. 5 years on, where do I see you?
Yeah, that's a good question. 5 years from now, I would like to see Koel Labs deploying a pronunciation platform that is used by anyone in a way that feels so intuitive and exciting. I want even the young kids who are practicing English overseas to be reaching for our platform when they just want to watch a fun show and then also be able to get an educational experience. In 5 years, I want to see teachers overseas pointing to our platform as a place for students to practice their language. And I also want to see my mom and my grandparents using the platform just as much, having fun, never feeling like their pronunciation is something that they have to struggle with, but a game that they can truly master. And I also want to see just more people really focusing on how to make these educational experiences of mastering language more interesting, and also people understanding that correctness of language is not so binary. And really just understanding how to love language and truly appreciate it with the platforms that we're providing.
I love everything about it. First of all, because it's very personal, and the struggle of having to pronounce something. And obviously, I've been speaking English for a long time, but I still have an accent. And sometimes you do become very self-conscious, and you're maybe not as vocal as you want to be. But the other reason that I find that this is the perfect timing is because going forward with AI, there's going to be a lot of voice as input, and so conversational AI. And so this is actually leveling the playing field for users across the world to actually be able to be understood. It's not just a question of asking whoever's assistant today to set a timer. Is a question actually to get things done.
Yeah, exactly. We're in an age where, data is being the foundation of everything. And because AI is moving so quickly, those discrepancies and gaps that you see in the performance of technology for certain groups is going to get bigger.
Yeah.
You're going to see that the American Standard Speech dialect is going to provide some people with incredible experience with AI and others with horrible experiences. And we want to make sure that gap is minimized as quickly as possible. And so although AI is developing at a great pace and it's amazing, it's going to come with a lot of implications. So we want to see that we're doing our best to be able to research really well and carefully how all of these different speaking profiles are best served. For us, it goes beyond just accents. It's everything from speech impediments to those who have post-stroke aphasia.
Yeah.
Everybody speaks so differently, and I think that's a wonderful thing. So the hope is that other companies are beginning to see this. Oftentimes, big companies will put out speech models and all these speech-to-text models, and they say, this is meant for everyone. It works for everyone. And they show a 95% accuracy, and it looks like it's amazing. And then users come across it, they speak in a slightly non-standard way, and they think something is wrong on their end.
Yeah.
And that's certainly not the experience we want people to have with technology. And so at Koel Labs, we really want to make sure that we reinforce this idea of making sure those on the developing end are aware of the problems that they might have in data and also in their actual architecture.
That's amazing. It's a great message to large tech companies to make sure that inclusivity is top of mind. Last question for you. Best piece of advice that you can give somebody going down the road for next year?
Yeah. For students specifically?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say, one, to never stop learning. Oftentimes, many people think that their learning ends at the time the bell in the classroom goes off. But especially in a time where there's so many resources online to get started with learning things, it's such an amazing way to learn skills so quickly, and never underestimate your ability to learn. I certainly didn't know that much about machine learning even 2 years ago, but you can go from 0 to 100 so quickly if you decide to dedicate yourself to a single project and really go in all in on it. I will say that also be okay with making mistakes and knowing that you're not going to know everything at the beginning. Especially as a woman in STEM, sometimes you can approach things with the perfectionist mindset, feeling
Yes.
like you need to know everything to be able to get started with a small project. But getting comfortable with the fact that you don't know anything and it's going to be a fun journey of learning is something that's very important. And being comfortable with not knowing and getting ready to learn is my biggest advice.
I think, to be honest with you, that is a great advice to any stage of life, and especially what you said about women and always in business as well as STEM, wanting to be 100% and having all the answers instead of having maybe 60% and figuring out the rest as our fellow men do in the process. So thank you so much. I don't know how you get so much wisdom so young, but I appreciate you spending time with me, and congratulations again to get to the finalists.
Thank you so much. It's been lovely talking to you.
Thank you.